guys, Maurice from Erickson Woodworking and Design. Hey, we got kind of a treat for you today. Ended up building a Wavy flag plaque for one of my coworkers. They're getting ready to go away, and this has been a pretty exciting. I built one about a week ago, and I had to do another one. I had some really great materials, some really nice walnut that has some really great figure on it, some curly maple, some red heart, purple heart, some maple, and some oak. So I got a ton of different wood species that are going to go into this thing, and the end result, when you see it at the end, it's pretty phenomenal. I really liked it. It was a fun build. I hope you guys enjoy the video. Still working out the mic. Still getting used to it. Trial and error. I think it's going to get better. Leave me a comment in the sections whether you guys like it or not. Any feedback is good feedback. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do. Please like the video and leave a comment and check the description. I have a whole bunch of links to different types of tools that I use. Hey, so a lot of it's Amazon affiliated links. If you click on it, you buy something, I actually get a kind of a little bit of a portion, not much, but it definitely helps. We'll get started. If you guys haven't used the Jessam tracks on your fence, these things are awesome. They save a buttload of time. They're safe. If you notice, I'm cutting these at a 1/2 inch, and if I was to do this on the fence without those reverse, I would get some major kickback. That stuff can actually get pretty dangerous. I've actually flung a board all the way through some plexiglass. And that's the reason why I'm doing that. Another thing you're going to see here pretty soon is I'm going to go ahead and, instead of using a joiner to joint all these edges up, because I'm using curly maple, it is extremely brittle, and it will chip instantly if it hits, especially a dull blade. And I think my joiner needs some new blades. So I'm going to take this right into the the drum sander, and it'll give me a really nice clean edge. Everything will be flush. This is another way, if you don't have a joiner, a drum sander is a really good effective tool. So looking at the joints, I mean, everything was really tight. I know when I glue these up, I shouldn't have any issues. There'll be no gaps or anything like that. I made sure to actually, get everything flush, either, through a joiner or, the drum sander that I used before I started cutting individual pieces. That way everything is uniform, and it makes it a lot easier working with 7 pieces instead of like 13, right? So you're gonna see here, I was moving pretty fast. I was getting a little comfortable. This is the second flag that I made this month, and I have the dimensions down. There's a really great website that gives you exact dimensions of an American flag. I ended up rounding up. You really can't tell the difference between, a 1/16 of an inch. Here, I got a little too excited, ended up just crashing everything. I had everything together. I ended up walking out of the shop, took about an hour just to recenter myself, get back in, and I need to get this thing glued up because there is a lot of work that still needs to be done here. I think I touched on it during the last video. I don't have a dedicated workbench that can support, glue ups or other miscellaneous use. So I use the table saw pretty much for everything. I think everybody kind of noticed that in the videos, the prior videos. So I need to protect it. I use a lot of parchment paper. And there's one thing that I absolutely hate is I hate gluing up boards. Probably worse than watching paint dry. I am not good at it, right? So I will make a mess, but at the end of the day, I still achieve the results that I want. The joints will be tight, and it's just one of those necessary evils that most woodworkers will have to do. The thing that helped me out the most is actually getting really good clamps. Those clamps that I have there are phenomenal. Very easy to do. The glue actually doesn't stick to them that bad, but I got to do some serious maintenance. As you can tell with the other clamps here, I got glue everywhere. So while that's gluing or drying at least, I'm going to go ahead and start the base. That's 3/4 inch plywood oak. Super nice. I've had that stuff in the shop for a really long time. So, I mean, it was perfect for this project. The Purpleheart was awesome. The only thing is I didn't bake that into the oven. Over time, that's going to probably, lose its purple and kind of turn brownish. But right now it's deep purple. The other wood was cherry. I'm going to use that as a plaque. I'll probably use my laser. There was a lot of lettering that the customer wanted. So it's easier to do that instead of the CNC because there was a lot of text that needed to go into it. Now I decided to use my dado stack. Before I get into that, you guys are gonna laugh at this, but so my miter saw is on the concrete floor right now. I don't have a spot for it, so I was literally on my hands and knees cutting these 45 degree miter cuts. Sooner or later, I'll probably get that thing into a steady position that I can actually use it functionally. But instead of using my router taper, I wanted to use that dado stack, and I ended up going with a 1/2 inch dado stack for this one. I cut the frames 1/2 inch wide, so 1/8 of an inch on each side was kind of perfect for the actual frame. Not too high, not too big of a gap either. The thing I didn't know when I first got my saw stop was I didn't know that the brakes were not interchangeable. So if you get a dado stack, you have to get a dado brake. There is no way to bypass it. The saw will not function correctly without that. So if you do get one, make sure you get that brake with it. Again, those Jessam assists. I wanted to get feather boards. I just haven't got them yet. But as you can see, this did exactly what I wanted it to do. So each piece got 2 cuts, and it took 1/2 inch. I mean, I wasn't in there for more than probably 10 minutes, and I had everything cut out. So I ended up doing the final sanding on this one. I went to 320 on the panels because once I got everything glued up, I was going to put it right in the CNC machine and then start gluing everything else up. And I just don't have enough room in between the plaque and the flag. So all that final sanding was done prior to all the assembly. So I think my workload, you know, my work my workflow actually made kind of sense here. Usually I get stuck looking at the CNC machine and I'll lose track of everything. I made sure that, you know, I glued up the flag first. While that was setting, I was prepping the frame. The frame is pretty much glued up. The flag is ready. It's dry. So as soon as this thing comes off the table, the flag will come in. I'll start cleaning that up and start prepping that for the CNC machine. So this is where I start getting excited. I can actually start seeing the grain pop a little bit while I'm sanding. The drum sander still has the 150 in it, the 150 grit. I'm going to water pop this really quick just to see the curl, and that walnut really pops out. In the video, I mean, you really can't see the curly maple very well, but I tell you, once we put the finish on it, it really pops. And it's really exciting to see, especially when you start putting this wave inside the flag. It looks like it's moving. It's actually pretty exciting. So I'm just prepping this for the CNC, and we'll start getting that work in. If you're serious about getting a CNC machine, or if you're on the fence and you're looking at all these companies, and you know, if that idea pops in your head that you're probably going to build one, I highly recommend, you know, looking at Carbide 3D and looking at their Shapico series. They just came out with 5. I have a 4 Pro, and I love this thing. I've had this thing for about 2.5 years. I have yet to have an issue. I had a small issue when I first got it, but customer support was awesome. They fixed everything, and I think it was about 6 months ago, I ended up upgrading my router to a spindle, and that thing is amazing. It is phenomenal, and it was a great upgrade, but I have zero regrets on getting this on this thing. So while the piece was on the CNC machine, I went ahead and I prepped the plaque itself, and that's going to go on my laser machine. That maple actually looks really good when it's lasered, but I'm trying to multitask the best I can, and this is a perfect opportunity because I will sit and look at that CNC machine and I'll get lost. I'll almost get memorized, and I'll waste half the day just watching the machine do its thing. So just a quick heads up. So I ended up buying the file, the 3D file, and I imported it into Fusion. And what it didn't have the stars. So I went ahead and modified the 3D model, included the stars. I like Fusion. There's tons and tons of different software that you can use. Aspire, Carbide has their own software that does 3D work. I just find that Fusion is a little bit easier for me. So this was the trick that I did a video, I think about a month ago. The sanding sealer is phenomenal. That's probably one of the best tricks that I know, and it's helped me out tremendously because I can fill gaps in that you would never know that there were gaps by using this. The key though is you have to turn off your dust collection system. You know, that sanding, that material needs to go back in, and that's what the sanding sealer will grab it and soak into the base material, and it will clear up any kind of defects or mistakes or anything like that kind of happen in a glue up. So I'm going to be sanding on this thing for a while. I didn't include a lot of the sanding in the video, but I probably have about 2.5 hours of sanding. One for the flag plus the base. I went from 120 to 220 to 320, and I stopped. My plan right now is to use Rubio to actually do the finish for it. You don't want to go any higher than 320. How it enters into the grain, you know, if you sand it too much and it caramelizes, it'll never penetrate it, and it will not stick. So the laser actually did a pretty good job on the plaque. The white stars ended up being acrylic. I've used spray paint in the past, and I've just had really crappy results. Acrylic has always been awesome. What I'll do is, you didn't see it in the video, but I just sprayed a little bit of sealer on top of it. So while we're kind of getting ready to wrap this video up, hey, so I know the sound quality still kind of isn't there. I'm still learning this microphone. I can tell you that I am not a talker. I am a doer, and for me to even talk in a video, that's pretty substantial leap forward for me. But I'm trying to get better. Again, leave me some feedback. Let me know, what you guys like. I can keep my mouth shut, and I can let the work speak for itself. But I definitely do enjoy making these videos. I like being creative. Matter of fact, I don't think I'd be doing the things that I'm doing if I didn't start, posting these videos online and getting that little bit of feedback that I've been getting. This is at Rubio. I love it. That is the easiest finish that I've used. It's expensive, yes, but it is 100% worth it. What I'll do is I'll use a maroon pad tomorrow. I'll give it about 24 hours to dry, and then I'll put a second coat on it, and it lasts. I've had projects that are over a year that I use daily, and I have still yet to put a new finish on it. So you get what you pay for with this stuff. It is phenomenal. But this pretty much wraps it up, guys. Again, hit the subscribe button, turn your notifications on. Here in the next about a week, I'm going to put out that cribbage board video. Again, it's going to be a free giveaway for those that subscribe. And again, my website should be going online right around that time. So it's very exciting. I've only been working for probably about 2 years, so I have come a long ways. I have a lot of passion, and yeah, I appreciate you guys getting to the end on this. Yeah, you can't beat Rubio, especially if there's a really good figure on that wood. And the stuff, I looked it out. I took it outside. I mean, it looked like it was moving by itself. So pretty exciting. Again, thanks for watching, and turn those notifications on, and we'll see the next video. All right, guys. Thanks.